Hi, and welcome to the Cruise Norway YouTube channel or on to our page on Facebook if that's where you're watching us. My name is Mari, and I am mostly responsible for sales support in Cruise Norway. But today is a very special day because Cruise Norway is turning 25 years old. And I thought a great way to celebrate would be to sit down with Espen, the founder, the CEO, the brains behind the operation, and talk about the history, the present, and the future of Cruise Norway. Hi, Espen.
Hi, Mari. Thank you for arranging this.
Of course, I think this is going to be really fun. How are you?
I'm well. I'm actually up in Connecticut right now, just relaxing. It's the middle of August, and I'm driving to New York a little bit later today, so I do commute back and forth. Yeah, I'm good.
So is Cruise Norway ran out of Connecticut right now?
Well, during the summer, life has changed quite a bit with after COVID and everything. So we're 10 people basically, and everybody's working remotely in different parts of the world. And so am I. So I mean, I Manhattan is my playground. I love the place, but in the summertime, it's good to get away. In particular, in Connecticut, it's a beautiful area. So
It looks beautiful around you as
yeah.
well. It's enjoying the outdoors. But let's get into this. Tell me, first of all, why did you focus on travel when you first started?
Oh, that was no grand plan actually. I was in finance initially. I went to University of Minnesota and I got an MBA in 1988. But in 1987, Black Monday happened in October, and the market crashed. And instead of hiring people, they were laying off people on Wall Street and in Oslo, being Norwegian. Um, so I actually was walking the streets in Oslo, didn't have a job. It was a really difficult time for me, and I felt like the character in Hamsun's Hunger, walking the street, almost starving. Anyway, I did finally get to New York through. I got a job there and Started with cruise industry news with a Norwegian called Øyvind Mathisen. He's still there, running a great publishing company. And he was very kind to me and helped me to learn everything about the cruise industry. And at that time, I also learned about desktop publishing, which was, pretty new. We're talking about the, late 80s, into the early 90s. So I did the publishing for him and marketing and sales. And yeah, again, that's how I learned about that particular business. And I worked there for a while. And then in 1999, the internet was starting to come around more, and I bought a whole bunch of really good domain names, including cruisenorway.com and a lot of other great domain names like cruiseafrica.com, cruisehavana.com, cruisescandinavia.com, and so on. But I focused naturally on Cruise Norway, although it took me a little bit of time to understand that that was the domain that I wanted to use. Initially, I was doing cruisemon.com and we were selling a lot of Caribbean cruises, uh, but there was no commission in it and a lot of work and little money. So that's how I got going. I also was very fortunate in the sense that the timing was perfect with the domain names and the internet, and I started to build websites with some people. So I got from the ground up, I understood the whole business. But travel was never really part of the equation. But one thing I want to say, I was always focused I was good at marketing and advertising, and there was a company called GoTo that was new at that time, and they were doing keyword advertising. And I think I was one of the first ones that would buy all these keywords like Hurtigruten. I mean, no one else could pronounce it, but the people that could spell it anywhere in the world, they were my customers instantly. And I I also have to give credit to a super great salesman who worked with me for many years, Mark Stusinski. He had a company called Your Vacation Travel, and when I would get all the leads in um, by the internet, I would have to fax them over to him because he was not computer literate at that time. Um, but yeah, but he was fantastic at converting these leads, I have to say. Really terrific person. Yeah.
Why has expedition cruising stuck with you? I mean, with all the other parts of travel or even other parts of cruising, other niches, why is expedition cruising the thing that Cruise Norway does today?
Well, it started with Hurtigruten, and they had these coastal voyages. So that's how I got into the whole business. And then they naturally went to Antarctica with their ships, and we followed that. And then Svalbard and these other regions. So that's how the business really started naturally go that way. So it wasn't a grand plan that either. Kind of just went with the flow, which I think is a key for success in business. You don't really plan too much. You have a feeling what you need to do, but then you just go for it and see what happens. So then Silver Sea approached us one point when they had their new first expedition ship, Prince Albert II, and we were doing tons of business with Silver Sea because they didn't really know how to sell expedition back then. And but then we started selling the classic fleet, more traditional cruises. So it wasn't only expedition, but today I have to say that that's the focus because I think I mean, that's where my heart is, and that's you know what I love to do and go on and so on. But uh, the business is always a challenge, and it's always fun for me to do. I don't know. So,
When did you first go on an expedition cruise, and what did you think about expedition cruising at first?
oh, I have a horrible memory, but I think it was MS From in Antarctica, just when they built From.
Hmm.
The first season on MS From, and that was a fantastic trip. I also went on MS Trollfjord, but I can't remember exactly when that was, when the ship was built and so on. But I enjoyed both of those trips, tremendously. Like I said initially, Hurtigruten was so focused in it, in the beginning, so that's why I went on those ships, and I love those products, both of them.
If you weren't running Cruise Norway and wasn't in travel today, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh, I don't really know. I mean, again, I had a background in MBA, and I was always good at playing games. So I think I would have been a great foreign exchange trader. That's sort of, or it's something on Wall Street, because that's a lot of my friends went into that business and made tons of money, and unlike me. But that's something I probably wanted to do. I also like to all kind of new things that is happening. I have vivid imagination. So I've had my hands in a lot of different things. And one thing I would like to do now, that I mean, is of course run Cruise Norway, but there's a project out there that I just looking a little bit into, and that's air conditioning jackets. I think it would be really cool to cool off the future workers that are outdoors. They can't work very long today because of global heating issues, and people all around the world sooner or later would need something like that. And eh, it's a challenge. A lot of people are working on it, and but I have one engineer that's working on it, and I'm looking into see if it's possible to develop something. Anyway,
That'd be really cool. That sounds like a revolutionary idea that could change the world.
yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, obviously someone is going to do it. So,
Hmm.
you know, uh, but then what happens in business, someone is doing it. There's so many ways to do things, and then how to scale it, and then how to do all of those things. That's a different story altogether, and financing of things and so on. But initially, it's really just getting a prototype made. I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
take that much money. And if you do that, then you can go places and have it scaled and developed. And that's a different business altogether. I don't know if I can do that. I've always just like the first part the most. Yes, you well know, I'm not that great with people. I think I am, but in a different type of way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you wouldn't be in travel 25 years later if somebody didn't like you. I mean, all the partners and people we work with, I think they like you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Now back to the cruising part of this. How do you think the business or the niche has changed over the course of the 25 years that Cruise Norway has been in the world?
Well, all the ships have are so much better these days. They have state-of-the-art accommodations and new technologies that are very environmentally friendly. So I would say that it's been a very positive development in the business, and I think overall it's actually very good for that the world is being educated about all the things that are happening in the polar regions in particular. They can see with their, own eyes, and I don't really think in the scale of these things that they're not polluting much. I don't think those are the issues. I think them being ambassadors for what's going on in the world is much more important than the little impact they have on those regions. Um, but no, I think it's been very positive, the whole industry. Of course, it needs regulations. You can't just expand that. If you look at what's happening with the mass cruises in Greece and other places, we don't want to destroy the local population. So there's a balance there that needs to be found.
Mhm. I have a sort of a personal question for you. I mean, I've worked for Cruise Norway now, what, over a year and a half, and I've never met you in person. So, Espen, how tall are you?
On a good day, I'm 6 foot.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I have to stretch my back up, and so on. But that's what yeah.
okay. What do you think is the benefit of having a travel agent? Why, with all the internet and everything being available to people online, why should anybody go with a travel agent nowadays?
Well, the basic thing is expertise, I mean, travel advisors, as I like to call
Hmm.
them. They have a lot of knowledge about the different uh, regions because they've traveled there. They know firsthand how to help customers. And of course, I also think that, so the service is tend to be better if you deal with a travel company. And I also think it's important that this is something that's slightly different, but the ship lines, the cruise lines, they need a competition. And that's one of the things that we notice all the time. Our biggest competitors these days are really the ship lines themselves. And with the internet coming around and technology we talked about earlier, and all the Google rankings with all the different social media and everything else, they basically occupy the whole internet, and there can be some tendencies to monopolies, which I don't think is very healthy, although they have fierce competition among themselves. But this is something that's happening with all the big brands out there. I mean, they got to be careful to stay competitive because of the competitive, uncompetitive nature of internet. Actually, you know.
Mhm. Where do you think expedition cruising is going in the future? What do you see? What are the next big changes coming up in, I don't know, 5, 10 years?
Well, I mean, I think that's going to be more and more. I think it's going to be a good growth. I think a lot of the people. It's pretty obvious that I've been to Caribbean, and a lot of different places are going to go on expedition cruises. I also think the younger generations are more interested in expedition cruises than anything else. I think we may have to, educate in the sense that this term cruises, is turning a lot of people off. So we always use the word expedition cruises. We have to put the expedition in front of it often, or we talk about voyages and we talk about different terms just to tell people because everybody loves to, not everybody, but so many people love to travel on the water and explore things. And that's what this is all about. And I even have brothers, they think about this as, oh, these are cruises, have no interest in it. And they have never been on it. I don't think they fully understand what expedition voyages or expedition cruises really are because it's quite unique and I mean I love it myself going these trips.
Yeah, Absolutely. What do you think the future holds for Cruise Norway?
Well, cruise Norway is expanding, as you well know. And I started again in 1999, built up a company. I sold it in 2015. Then I played squash for a few years and did some business in India and all of that. And then I got it back in 2018. And of course, then COVID hit, which was an interesting time, to say the least. And but what happened was that I was able to get some really good people working at Cruise Norway during COVID because they were let go from some of the ship lines. So Cruise Norway since then has just been getting really smart people, and that is the key, to really have smart people and people that are passionate about travel and so on. So we have gone from 0 to 10 million today, and I think we can go to 20 million. So to do that, we need to scale more, and we are developing at Cruise Norway a new website that I think is actually crucial uh, because it's going to open up a lot of new opportunities. um, Having said that, it's all about people. That's the most important thing for the business to grow. But definitely, 20 million is a growth for the next 3 to 5 years, I would say. Um, and the website and the people, that's how it's going to happen by scaling things. And
Yeah.
and the market is there. I mean, it's a growing market, so it's just a matter of grabbing it, figuring
Hmm.
this out. And I'm very grateful to a lot of people actually that came in and told me about the new technology because I, grew up in a different era. And all of a sudden, you are, of course, an expert on Salesforce, which is crucial to the business. And we have a payment system called Flywire, which has been really good for us as well. And so we've added all the components uh, to, so we're ready to scale basically already. And the last piece is really the website and how to do that with the APIs and so on. So that's going to come, and that's how we're going to do it.
Fantastic. I can't wait. I mean, I think it's so exciting where we're going, and I do agree that we have a fantastic team around you to make it all happen in the coming years. 25 years is a very long time. And I know you have a lot of memories and a lot of stories. So can you tell me some of the more memorable or funny stories or things that have happened in this business in Cruise Norway to you or to your team or in the business in general in the 25 years?
Well, looking back at it, I think some of the funniest things was when we first started out and when we didn't have all the technological skills and so on. So whenever we made a sale initially, we would actually celebrate it and by having someone climb up on a ladder in our offices at 11 Broadway and write down the last passenger name and the sales number. But we made a lot of fun out of it because every time we had a sale, we had a whole, ritual and someone always climbing up on that ladder and writing these numbers down. It was pretty crazy. So that was, and there's been a lot of things that's been fun on board the ships too when you just travel. I remember in Silver Sea one time, we were down below deck and the captain was actually making a special dinner and but it was just a huge party and it was a lot of fun. Um, I don't know. There's been a great time. I just also I just love the challenge every year on how to actually grow the business. That might sound boring to people, but for me that's been fun.
Yeah. You do seem like a numbers person, and that excites you and getting going and having me pull all the reports for you and making sure that we're on track and all the things. It's fun for me too. So I'm glad I'm in the team. Now to end this off, what do you think are the top three tips or three things that somebody should know before they go on their first expedition cruise if they're looking into maybe possibly booking something in the expedition cruising niche?
Oh, I think that they should definitely do some research online, but then they still should contact a travel advisor to get their take on it. And they should, so that's one thing, contact a travel advisor. And they shouldn't compromise on the ship. I mean, maybe because I'm a snob, but I think you can combine adventure and comfort, and you can do it without paying extra today because of all the fantastic ships that are out there. So, yeah, that's that's what I can say.
What's the favorite destination that you've been to? What part of the world do you love most?
I would say Antarctica. I mean, it's just such a scale that you're not used to at all. So you think like a little, you feel like you're on another planet almost. I still love Norway, being Norwegian. There's so many beautiful things along that coast in Norway, and I just love going back there all the time. I also have a cabin on the southern tip of Norway that I go to all the time, a country house, I should say. And it's a beautiful place that I love, and where my ashes will be buried one day because that's how much I love it. Um, you know, but yeah.
What is
Yeah.
the very final thing that I want to know is what do you wish for Cruise Norway? What's your birthday wish for us as a team or as a company or for yourself? What do you want us to accomplish in the next year?
Oh, I just want the company to grow fast. And believe it or not, every time I write a check out to the people, I mean, or wire money to people, I love it. I always have. This is something that I think is very important to understand. I actually like to pay people because I understand it's so crucial. And people have to love what they do, but I'm never babysitting anybody, so people have to figure things out. But when they do, uh, then when I can send them a check or wire them money, it makes myself happy. And of course, writing myself a check makes me happy too. But I think it's crucial, to have that generosity to be successful in business. I mean, I see a lot of other people, trying to cut corners here and there and there. I just look at the top numbers really, and then I don't worry too much about where the money goes out to people that make that happen. And I hope I'm going to be like that always because for me it's a game. I mean, business is a game, and you know, just play it and have fun. And then if you do that, things are going to always turn out well. So people have that attitude, it will be good.
I agree. Thank you, Espen, for your time, and I wish you are just as bright-eyed and curious and up for anything new in the next 25 years to come.
Thank you, Maury. Thank you.